Hello and thanks for joining us this Sunday on your channel of choice, Africa Independent Television AIT. Let me welcome you to the signature show. I am, as always, Mwabueze Njoko, and in this edition of the program, how is the ordinary Nigerian surviving today? Imo State Governor got it right. What has Hope Uzodinma done? Now, before the next protests, can we prevent it? Plus, Nigeria as a killing field. The kidnappers then, is the nation overwhelmed? We'll be back with the details. Just stay there. Now, it is not a matter of the Yuletide season. The cost of everything, from basic food items like beans, rice, onions, tomatoes, gari, to palm oil, both meat and fish, can crush the finances of nearly every income earner in Nigeria today. The irony is that many of these staples are supposed to be in season, but they cannot be afforded by those ordinary Nigerian families. But why do I raise this matter? Now, I drove from Otukpo in Benue State through Agatu to Oweto in Nasarawa State, and I wept for the agriculture policy of my country over time. Now, if our state governors have become incompetent to harness such massive land resources to feed our teeming population, what has the federal government itself done? Now, we will engage with this issue in another edition of this program. But as we talk about being miserable for many Nigerian families, Senate President Ahmed Lawan 2 weeks ago told Nigerians not to focus on the jumbo pay of members of the National Assembly, but to focus on the work that they do. No, sir, Mr. Senate President. Now, the misinterpretation and misapplication of reward away from society's appreciation for service rendered to become improvement in the economic status of those who render these services is at the root of the rot in Nigeria's public service. It is the spirit of Lawan's argument that we should look away from the jumbo pay of political office holders that is responsible for the impoverishing jumbo pension for ex-governors, which is ruining the finances of many states in Nigeria. Now, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak have broken ranks with those governors who, like Lawan, want to preserve their economic future by keeping a pension scheme for ex-governors that is draining the financial resources of most states in the country. Now, the move by these three governors is what I may call altruistic governance. It should be a model for the rest before they are pressured. All right? Now, please, I do not want to sound alarmist this afternoon, but comments by high government officials that the NSAS protests, the rising incidents of kidnapping and other security breaches in the country are being instigated by opponents of Buhari is outright escapist and divisive. Now, more than once on this program, we have admonished the government to try and create a sense of collective threat and therefore harvest the input of Nigeria's security best. Placing partisan label on our security challenge is unhelpful, it's unnecessary, and it is divisive. I remind us of this because protagonists of NSAS protests are not done. Many say a second wave of the protests is in the offing. Now, can't we stop it by communication, explanation, show of accountable governance? Now, if the kidnappings and the protests are being instigated by opponents of the Buhari government to pave way maybe for voting the APC out in the 2023 are the same opponents responsible for the killing of 43 farmers in Borno State. Some may say that it really did not subside, but in recent weeks, there has been a renewed wave of kidnappings in Nigeria. From kidnapping along the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway, which in one instance involved 10 students of the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, to that of a traditional ruler in Enugu State. The kidnap and murder of Philip Shekwo, the Nasarawa State All Progressive Congress chairman, and just last week, the murder of Oba Israel Deusi, the Oluifo of Ifoland. The rush of kidnappings in Nigeria is keeping even the most patriotic Nigerian on the edge.
When you are talking about insecurity in this nation, Nigeria government is trying their best to put everything in order. But however, the best is not being satisfied by the citizen, and the complaint is underground. People are complaining here and there.
President Muhammadu Buhari once told Nigerians that kidnappings have become a survival tactic by Boko Haram operatives who have been put in disarray by the Nigerian military. The president, by that statement, was giving credit to the Nigerian military for giving a bloody nose to the insurgents who now resort to attacking soft targets. Two developments, however, contradict the president's thesis. The first is that the kidnappings are spreading across many more states in Nigeria. Does the president mean, therefore, that as Boko Haram is being defeated, it is spreading kidnapping tactics across a wider area? The second is that some high-profile government officials now say that the spate of kidnappings is all in the move to give the Buhari government a bad name in order to ensure that the APC defeated in the 2023 election. In other words, the rush of kidnappings is orchestrated by political opponents.
If you want to look at what the president has said with respect to issues of this insecurity, as far back as even 2015, before the elections, you realize that there's no difference in whatever it is that's happened. And then it's unfortunate that at this time we are still here. He has now metamorphosed from that statement to now begin to talk of them technically defeated any kidnapping. Like I stated earlier, Boko Haram, banditry, kidnappers, they are all one and the same persons. The only thing the Boko Haram people are doing is that they use kidnapping as a means of raising funds to continue to finance their activities. They are not defeated.
The insurgencies and all these things. It is Nigerians. They are the insurgencies. And it is the leaderships. Because Abacha said that any terrorist organization that lasted for 6 months, that the government hand is inside, the government is involved.
No matter the thesis being advanced, the current spate of kidnappings is causing social and economic dislocation for many families and communities. The kidnappings invariably end up in the death of the victims, or they are released after huge ransom has been paid. The kidnappers keep restocking their arsenal. Besides, they have become a distraction for a Nigerian military which has had to be deployed to provide internal security for the nation. In consequence, these kidnappings are being used to measure the effectiveness or otherwise of the Nigerian military, whose core mandate in any case should not be internal security.
The militaries these days, they are like school children, marching everywhere. Do you understand me? So the thing is that it is not the politicians has corrupted the military.
In assessing the effect of these kidnappings on the health of Nigeria, there is the need to raise questions on the competence or incompetence of the ministers charged with these portfolios. What have the ministers of Defense and Interior done to guide Nigeria out of the present shameful situation where kidnappers determine when and how Nigerians can move around in their own country?
You see, the issue with security with the Minister of Defense and Minister of Interior, you find out, like I was telling you earlier, you find out that they are no longer in control. of whatever you think it's happening. You see, the control of the military now is no longer in their hands. Control of the Nigerian police is no longer in their hands. You hear there are people who seems to be like they are the ones in charge.
As the Yuletide approaches, many Nigerians may not travel, not just on account of the poor state of the economy, but more on account of their own safety, because they could be kidnapped on the roads, in their homes, or right in their worship centers. Is anywhere safe in Nigeria today?
This is SignatureTV.org. Breaking the news. Following the news. Analyzing the news. 247 round the clock. All on the go. SignatureTV.org. News in your pocket.
From the rush of kidnappings to the burden of corruption, has it occurred to you really that you cannot get any service in any ministry in Nigeria today by following the due process? Now, that is why banks in Nigeria can issue fake capital importation certificates to foreign interests doing business in Nigeria. And the Central Bank of Nigeria simply collects kick front, kick back, kick middle to either ignore such fraud or even endorse it. It is game up for some of these fraudsters. And just wait and join us in our conversation segment. Well, let me welcome you to the conversation segment of the Signature Show this Sunday. My name never changes. It remains Nwabuzo Njoku. Apologize that I wasn't with you last Sunday. A little bit under the weather, but not to worry. We are here this Sunday. I'm going to give a title to this our conversation this Sunday. From Magu to Emefiele. What does that mean? You know, once on this program, I had a conversation with Dr. George Ubo, Nigeria's foremost whistleblower security expert, a gentleman who is committed to improving, he cannot clear it, to improving the corruption fortunes or anti-corruption fortunes of this country. In that first conversation, it was all about what Magu and EFCC were doing to straightforwardness in investigation in this country. Big revelations. All of that ended up with a presidential panel which grilled Magu. And I understand that the report was submitted about 3 weeks ago. We get to have the details of that report and the consequence of those infractions. But this Sunday, we're talking again with Dr. George Ubo. In this case, the depletion of Nigeria's foreign exchange reserve, now listen to this, by as much as 25 billion US dollars. The question is, who done it? Dr. George Ubo, you're welcome this afternoon.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'm a little bit uncomfortable, and I'll tell you why I'm uncomfortable. This country today is resource-strapped. This country today is cash-strapped. The present government, I don't envy it because it is struggling to redeem itself. People making demands, not people. Infrastructure making demands, education making demands, health making demands, security making demands. These can only be achieved if the resources are available to any government. Nigerians have been screaming, slash the resources of political office holders because they think that what we have cannot sustain our expense style again. Yet, I hear that somehow the Central Bank of Nigeria has allowed the system to lose as much as 25 billion US dollars. What has happened?
Thank you very much, sir. The report is very clear and convincing, I might add. MTN, the foremost telco company in Nigeria, South African owned, over the years engaged in a systemic, a maze, a web of conspiracy. And I use the word conspiracy because it's not MTN that issues the certificate of importation in question. So when you look at, as an investigator, you look at the nature of crime that involves persons and or organizations, and the way systems and rules and regulations have been flouted, you can use the word conspiracy. It's simple. When you are dealing in foreign currency, certificate of capital importation is what is used, to make sure that Nigeria will get our foreign reserve, foreign currency and everything. But
a certificate of bringing extra amount of dollars into the Nigerian economy.
But in this
as investment.
Yes, but in this case, and the report is quite voluminous. In this case, there has been a long-standing flouting of certificates of capital importation germane to MTN and its bankers, Stanbic IBTC Bank, Standard Chartered Bank. But more so because the Apex Bank, the Central Bank of Nigeria that regulates these banks and has the requisite power to do the needful, did not. And that is where the problem lies. Now,
okay,
what even pains me more, if you now say, okay, let's say CBN is not aware, which is unlikely. After the report came out,
who wrote the report?
Okay.
And report on what?
The report on MTN, this MTN is something that is ongoing, and 2 people were commissioned to do the investigation.
That's from your own organization, or was it a government commission?
I will leave that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But there is a report.
There is a report here. Now, after the report came out, the bill stood over 25 billion, less than 26 billion US dollars. That was when the politicking, the lobbying, the incestuous relationship started. And if you recall, Sahara reporters did a report on this, pressuring the CBN to ensure that MTN and its bankers paid this bill. But nobody knew the actual amount, because Sahara reporters reported that and actually displayed the letters CBN wrote MTN and the banks to pay aggregate of $8.1 billion. I picked up the phone and I called Showore. I said, good reporting. Your report is very good, but that $8 billion is a far cry. That the actual amount is over $25 billion. He said, what? I said, I have the report. Over time, even that $8 billion was not paid. I weep for this country. I hope and pray that the President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, I pray that he musters the willpower to ensure that these monies are paid. Because you are talking over 7 trillion naira. Why are we going to China to borrow money? Why are we having the Chinese government to come and execute projects and pledging our natural resources when the monies are right here? And these same guys involved in this will still travel to China with the president, sit down in China to get loan, knowing fully well what they have done.
George, I'm going to cut in here.
Yes.
It is needful for me, representing the viewer, to get the meat of the story. I'm going to pretend that we're just starting this conversation afresh. What are the details, without telling me who wrote, what are the details of this report? And what are the infractions allegedly committed by, let me now say, the central bank, in the sense that, from what you just said earlier, MTN, IBTC, Standard Chartered don't issue certificates themselves. It is the central bank that issues. What is the full story?
That is why we indicted CBN. That is why the caption, it says, investigative report on alleged depletion of Nigeria External Reserve by MTN, Stanbic IBTC Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, in collaboration with CBN officials. In collaboration. It is that which they were supposed to do that they did not do. Because when you look at the certificates of importation, you read the report, you see how they issued irregular, fake certificates. And to answer your question, I mean, the CBN has not come to challenge it, the report. They have actually written, given bill, they have acquiesced to it. So the point is, it is not whether it was committed or not. No.
They have admitted.
They have admitted, yes. This has been, let me not say, maybe the laymen in Nigeria are not aware of it. I'm privileged to certain information, but to a certain degree, people have been hearing about it. We know what has been going on. How the South African mighty, the high and mighty have been lobbying for this money, for this bill to be reduced. So the issue is not the authenticity.
George, I'm not talking about bail. You are being euphemistic by using the word bail. If somebody has received a certificate for importing money he did not import, and therefore claims a value which he doesn't have, it means that the person is defrauding the system. It is not, to my mind, a bail.
Pardon my. I'm trying to be to be a bit liberal with my semantics. But the point is, you hit the nail on the head. It's pure fraud. But again, that is where you don't look into the convoluted nature of this whole thing. The bigger the allegations of fraud in Nigeria, the less likely
they will resolved.
The security agencies.
I was coming to that.
Yes. Because it's not like we have not put this thing to the test.
Because if this finding, CBN is not contesting it, what is the EFCC doing? Because this is a financial crime.
I will show you a letter written on my behalf, in fairness. This, after I was irate, of course, when I got this, I wrote to the Whistleblower's Office, Ministry of Finance, last year. This is a letter from the Federal Ministry of Finance to the Federal Ministry of Justice to investigate. This is that submission I made Monday, April 29, 2019. The ministry wrote on 30th May 2019 on this, my submission, asking the Ministry of Finance and of Justice to investigate. We are still waiting. So these are the frustrations we in the civil society go through. We are supposed to be the catalyst, give information to security agencies. Let's say you are not privy to it, no problem. We have the report, we have the evidence we give to you. But the frustration we face, because they may even come and arrest you. So now, this has been given to the Ministry of Justice, nothing happened. We have now written a petition to the House Committee on Public.
That was where I was going, because apart from the ministries,
Yes.
which is the executive arm,
Yes.
there is the representative of the people, which is the National Assembly.
Yes.
Have you made a formal complaint
Yes.
to the National Assembly?
We have written a petition. Of course, the National Assembly, being a co-equal branch of government, they have the requisite power to investigate as well. So we have been given December 9th for me to show up, and letters have been written to MTN, Stanbic IBTC, Standard Chartered Bank, and CBN, and of course, to me, to appear on the 9th of December. So I hope and pray that the National Assembly, the House Committee, will do justice to the petition. Of course, their power is really limited, but they can come up with a report. Again, apart from this, do the needful. But again, because the National Assembly does not have the power to prosecute, does not have the power to arrest, doesn't even have the power to recover. But in the face of the security agencies not being interested, that is now my second option. But left to me, this is the case, this should be the case of the decade. This should be the case that EFCC should take up, because you are talking 25 billion US dollars. Come on.
George, let me move from the substance to the import. When a person or a company can so comfortably and so easily swindle this country, and our reaction seems to be, well, what can we do? Let the civil society organizations make noise. What is the import of it for the next investor? Will they have confidence, or will they not treat us as where anything goes?
Well, the question begs its own answer. When you have a foreign company who has perpetrated this allegation, this fraud, of course the word will trickle down all over the world. Go to Nigeria, it's an easy prey. Go and do your thing. You can go there and score as many goals as you can. I mean, what they have done here, they cannot try a fraction of it in their country. Don't forget, as we speak, a South African president as we speak, was removed from office, and is standing trial. I have South African channel I watch almost every day. Is standing trial for the state capture allegation. And how much is even involved in the state capture? They go with the Guptas. It's not enough. It's not even up to what a minister puts in his pocket in Nigeria and travels. So it's the system in Nigeria, and that the porosity of the system, the stereotype, has resonated. So foreigners, I mean, this is just one of them. We have oligarchs in Nigeria who are involved in the same certificate of importation racket. I always give you this analogy. Bill Gates went to see Trump the second time he came out. He said, I'm tired of explaining to Donald the difference between HIV and HPV. He insulted, but because he doesn't need Donald Trump to make money. I'm yet to see any Nigerian billionaire that will say that about our president, because they're all villa businessmen. I call them villa businessmen. Because when you have people that are giving waivers, so there is no equal within the rule. Yeah, no, not even that. They crush you as a business partner, because you are not operating on that equal. The playing field is not even. Or some concession is given, John D. Rockefeller in the 1930s was the first person that was hit with antitrust violation in U.S., that is monopoly. Upon all his foundations and philanthropies and everything, when they found that Standard Oil had other oil companies milking, engaged in monopoly, they hit him. In the 1980s, Bill Gates, Microsoft, was hit with antitrust law. And I think as we speak, either Google or Facebook, Google is facing it too. So when you have a country where some products, you have people that enjoy monopoly or duopoly or oligarchy, and these people enjoy concessions that are humongous, that are from out of this world, and anybody who dares to venture into the same business is crushed. One thing I love about the American system when I was in US, about free enterprise, where the small businesses, the venture capitalists, people like Warren Buffett can hold a workshop. If you have any idea, they give you as a venture capitalist to bring up new ideas. A Nigerian company was just bought for over $300 million, if I'm not mistaken, right? By, say, Google or whatever. That is what I'm talking about. So we live in a country where it's not just about corruption. It's this psyche that when you get to a certain stratosphere, nobody can talk to you. You can break any law. We have other cases, some Indian companies in the oil industry regarding FIRS, that even our own Nigerians working at FIRS would cook books for them, understate their revenue,
and therefore their
and
tax,
overstate their expenses. That is,
George will come to that. But let me ask you, just to conclude this conversation, let me ask you, is the establishment, the Nigerian establishment, whom you deal with, for whom you blow the whistle, are they aware?
against whom I blow the whistle?
That's it.
Yes.
Against whom? Then my question is as good as dead on arrival, because if you blow the whistle against them, I was going to ask you, are they conscious of the huge nature of this challenge?
You see, Hillary Clinton in 2012, Secretary of State, if I can recall a statement she made at a summit, she said any democracy rests on a three-legged
Tripod.
on a tripod. A vibrant government, a job-creating private sector, and a robust civil society ready, willing, and able to call the government to account. Do not try to gag the civil society, but that is what happens here. We in the civil society, in that space, we're supposed to give the executive, the information, the requisite information, and that is why, to a certain degree, I keep saying it and I'll sing it till I die, that the biggest thing that ever happened in the civil society is the whistleblower policy. I never thought in my life, when I was blowing the whistle against EFCC in 2013 and all that, I never thought I would wake up one day, as I did on December 15, 2016, when the federal government announced the whistleblower policy. That is willpower on the part of Buhari. We have to give him that kudos. But the fact that his cabinet members have not been able to sustain it, have not been able to come up with the whistleblower policy to protect whistleblowers. And because of that loophole, whistleblowers are being arrested because there's no protection. But you can't blame Buhari squarely for that. That is why you need to assemble, put the square pegs in square holes. Why I love Reagan today is because Reagan, apart from having the willpower, had a robust cabinet. I mean, he was an actor. People even question his ability. He wasn't a lawyer, anything. He was an actor. But when he went to Berlin and looked Gorbachev in the eye and said, Gorbachev, tear down this wall, that is willpower. So once you have that willpower to raise, when you raise that cutlass and say, I want to do this, you should have people that will now follow suit. We don't have it.
We don't have it.
Yes.
There is a minister responsible to respond to this matter. There are agencies under that minister responsible to respond to this situation. Have they delivered on your expectation?
Are you talking on this particular issue?
Yes, this
this letter, it's not hidden. I can make it available. It's written to my good friend Malami, Attorney General San. I've had my issues with him. It is quite appalling, to say the least, that I wrote an open letter to the president on I went to UK, I flew with her on May 9th, 2016, on my way to UK for the Anti-Corruption Summit. Everything I said in that letter, I'll make it available to you. It says that what had started happening, because that was about a year into Buhari's presidency, the first one anyway, before the second one. I used a phrase there in talking about the monumental corruption cases I have uncovered in Nigeria, and why it hurts me that after killing these elephants, we are going to China looking for ants. That is the phrase I used. Because I still don't understand why anybody in office, when you see a case of $25+ billion, why that person shouldn't have let anything else go and pursue that? Because if I'm in that position, I know that I do this is what is going to make, it's not really, I always say, it's not how long you hold a position. It is what you do with that position. I still beat my chest to say that I was engaged by the federal government to trace stolen funds trapped in financial institutions for 27 days. In 27 days, I traced over 500 billion, aggregating all currencies. When the federal government in 1 year did 117 billion, I mentioned that on Channels TV, that earned me 17-day detention at DSS. But the point is, it was a good detention because the gentleman, Lawa Daura, apologized, and we are okay today. I don't mind a little, rough now and then, but we are guys. After you rough me up, when he saw that after I wrote my statement, and he saw that, in fact, I met him on February 11, 2017 to bring the funds I traced, the currencies, everything. And on February 18, 2017, on another Saturday, this following Saturday, he sent for me. He said, Doctor, when I saw your tape saying you perform more than the federal government, I said, who is this person bragging? I better lock him up. He said, but after seeing account numbers, banks, currencies, different countries.
Amounts there.
Yes, and your figures are correct. I said, it may interest you, sir, to know that the first person I went after is my own sister, Cecilia Ibru. I'm from Delta State, she's from Delta State. I said, look at it, look at the date that was traced. I asked Attorney General here. I flew to UK because in her plea agreement with the federal government, she pled to forfeit all Oceanic Bank access to the federal government, but Oceanic Bank UK was transferred to another company owned by herself and her son. So I went to do that. And the reason why my brother did is because when I went after Lamondo EFCC, they said I'm from Delta, going after an Adamawa man. Now I'm going after Emefiele, they said I'm from Agbo, going after an Agbo man. So, in Nigeria, there is nothing you do that will not earn you a bad name. That is the biggest thing now, that why is an Agbo man fighting an Agbo man? And until we grow beyond the ethnic sentiment, we are not going to get anywhere. In fact, this is a lot bigger than the EFCC fight, because we are talking 2 trillion and 1.993 trillion. This is 25 billion, over 7 trillion naira. I'm going to be on every platform, locally and globally, discussing this, because there has never been any contrary report. MTN has never come to say they don't owe the money. CBN has never come to say they don't owe the money. This is an ongoing thing. So for me not to, I don't know how to phrase it. If my name were not even on it, I would fight the matter. So my name being on this and a letter having been written to my friend Attorney General to investigate, oh my God. we will do what is needful in this country, because this money, we cannot let it go.
Thank you very much, George. This conversation continues. It never ends. It continues next Sunday. Can I wish you a joyous Sunday? My name remains Nwabueze Njoku. Good afternoon. Hello and welcome to the program in which we put the spotlight on issues of corruption in our country. My name is Nwabueze Njoku. I'm sure you'll be wondering what has happened to Ufoma Eguriase and his fantastic presentation in Pidgin English. We say, when you see what is more important than the yams, you sell the barn. This Sunday, we will be bringing you the first in a 3-part story of an investigative report by Signature correspondent. This story was 8 months in the making, from March to November 2020. It is the story that will expose, it is a story that will make you feel rather very sad for Nigeria's education system. It exposes how coaching centers, proprietors of schools, NECO examination officials and NECO external examiners and Ministry of Education officials compromise the NECO examinations. They collude to post candidates to special centers, negotiate fees to allow non-candidates to sit the exams for absentee candidates, and make money for themselves while the education system goes down the abyss. Stay with us for this story that will make you sad.
This na corruption theory.
On Monday, February 17, 2020, Signature TV approached an ordinary level coaching center in Abuja with a request to be registered for the June-July NECO examinations. Having attempted the ordinary levels before, Signature TV did not want to receive any coaching from the center. The center owner offered more than registering us for the NECO exams. He offered to make it possible for our undercover reporter not to even sit the examinations. He offered to provide us a non-appearance service in a special center at a fee.
Madam, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm calling from...
I'm hearing you.
I'm calling as regards NECO exam. I registered NECO with one uncle. I don't even know his name. That man that used to come from Abuja that brings people for exam in your school. I don't know his name now. We only call him uncle.
Okay. I know him. Is it Prosper?
Prosper, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm calling as regards my NECO exam. Which paper did I miss yesterday?
You need keep learning.
Oh. He said I should negotiate with you as regards my non-appearance.
So if you want to come and see non-appearance, you need to pay.
How much?
You have discussed with him and is he not the one that joined you with you?
Yes, that's why. No. That's why he asked me to call you that to know the discount should be able to give me, because he said they cannot give me discount because you are the one in charge.
When I'm collecting from Kaduna here, do you want me to tell you this?
Yes.
If I'm collecting from Kaduna here, I'm collecting 35,000.
35, okay. But he actually told me 28,000. Maybe because I registered with him.
The coaching center owner was the first leg in the web of examination fraud known to the Nigerian Education Ministry officials, even at the highest level of the Federal Ministry of Education. We will show you these as we go along. For the present, the coaching center owner linked us to one Mrs. Monsurat, who would not disclose her other details except that she is the proprietress of a private school which cannot pass for a community pig's pen, but goes by the exalted name Fabian Kings and Queens College, located in Alagbado area of Kabala West of Kaduna State. The contract opened the second stage of the fees for results negotiation. Signature TV had insisted on sitting both the English and mathematics papers and then could allow non-appearance for the other subjects. But first, what is non-appearance? It is you pay and the ring provides a hired writer who would sit the paper in your name. The fee has to be negotiated.
How much can you do the non-appearance for me last? I have 2 proposals because math and English is the subject I really need. I would come myself and be there to write it, but other ones you help me get somebody to write it. Is it possible?
It's possible. You want to come for the English and math by yourself, right?
Yes, and others, you get somebody to write on my behalf.
28 last.
Yes, ma'am.
That 28 says is even him that pleaded to me because I told him that everything is 30,000.
Yes, ma'am.
So what did you want us to do now in order not to be wasting the credit?
Seriously, just help me reduce price. Maybe 17.
You love yourself too much. That's a...
No, there's no money. Oh, God. You don't understand. You don't understand, man. There's no money.
So let us just rush and say something so that your credit will not be wasted.
The airtime said I had to borrow from Airtel. 300 naira to call you. I don't have airtime. Seriously, there's no money. Oh, that's why I've been going back and forth about this.
Well, see, that 17,000 honestly is very lesser because we have to look for somebody that is good, that can able to handle that papers. And you know what? We have to be buying the paper. The person that will be coming to be sitting, we have to be paying them. And as you are non-appearance, they have to focus eyes again. That is what those invigilators used to do. So what do we do now? Just give me 25. You see the problem that is there now that they are doing the paper up on. We don't know how it's going to be. See some people that came now since last week, they left again, and they will still pay transport and come back.
I understand now. Let me give you 20.
And you know, in writing English and math, there is general assistant that you people have to pay. Ask Oga Prof, he knows about it.
General assistance, how?
When they are writing English and math, you know the invigilators, they are always tough. Are you getting me right? So we used to tax and collect something so that we gather with the one with us and we pay to them so that they will not even say anything. For the assistant, they will not say anything. We just look for people that are very qualified in mathematics and English, and those are the people that will come that day and do everything, and we write it on the board and everybody will just go through.
I see. Ma, 20,000. Please just help me.
17 is too low. I can't hide you.
No, I'm saying 20. 20. 20. 20.
See, what you will do, just give me 23. Give me 23.
Let me use that 3,000 as transport to come and write my maths and English.
Please give me 23 so that we just cover everything. Just give me the 23 like that. Give me 23. It's because you are complaining, and me, I'm somebody that I don't want to put people in much problem. I don't like people to be in much problem because this life is not. Sure, you understand?
Yes.
This life is not.
It's okay, ma. What's your name, sir? Very so I can save your number.
You make me to laugh. Save it with your name.
With proprietary, Sabi. I know you are Yoruba now, so it's possible.
Hearing the same name, believe it or not, I cannot forget. When I saw your name, I just laughed. I put Monsor Abuja, that is Monsurat. I'm from Kwara State. You are from which state?
I'm from Osun. Okay, oh, I believe you now. No, Allah.
After 28,000 naira was agreed, the woman gave our undercover reporter a GTB bank account number 01320192267, which we discovered belonged to one Bashirat Nike Oduwale. On November 11, the date for the mathematics subject, Signature TV was given a school uniform. With our under cameras, the entire fraud ring began to unfold. We'll bring you details in the second part of the story. But before that next part, we reached out to one Ibrahim Nabai of the Nigerian Parents Teachers Association in Kaduna, who promised to get in touch with authorities of NECO, involve them in the move to bust this ring of results for sale. Meanwhile, an Abuja parent says a compromised education system ruins the entire future of their wards.
The system is totally bastardized. Of course, you should know the impact. The student that you produce from that system will definitely not be able to match up. It will, by the grace of God, be able to match up with those of their mates in other crimes.
It is heartening to note that just few hours after we linked up with the NECO authorities, the authorities have also reached out to us, and in a first step, they have flagged the Fabian Kings and Queens College, whose examination center number is 0140721. The NECO registrar has promised to work with Signature TV to identify the NECO external examiners complicit in this debasement of the examination process of that examination body. In the meantime, NECO is assembling all papers, especially English and mathematics, sat in that Fabian Kings and Queens College for thorough scrutiny. In the second part of this story, we will bring you how students who do not even understand the questions on the papers are dictated answers to, just to copy. And where they can't, we will show you proof that the answers to the questions are simply sent to their phones, including the phone of our undercover reporter.
This na corruption theory.
That's our corruption story for this Sunday. As I said at the beginning, it is the first part of a three-part story on NECO exam results for sale. We are happy that NECO authorities have swung into action. We and them and the Nigerian Parents Teachers Association be working together to unravel all those connected with this show of shame. Don't forget to join us next Sunday for the second part, which will be video-based for you to see for yourselves. Good afternoon.